This week we're going to start thinking about volcanoes. What do you already know about volcanoes? Do you know the name of any volcanoes? Do you know what they look like? Do you know what's inside? We need to start by looking back to our work from last week. We need to think about what's under our feet. We need to think about what's inside the earth. Can you remember the name of any of the layers? You're right. Here's the crust. Here's the mantle. Next we have the outer core. And then right at the centre we have the inner core. Eyjafjallajökull is a volcano in Iceland. Can you see Iceland on the map? It last erupted between March and June in 2010. It's one of the smaller ice caps in Iceland. The summit of the volcano has an elevation of 1,651 metres. These are images from the news coverage of the last eruption. They tell you that this volcano is under an ice sheet. What do you notice in these photographs? This volcano was on a very popular walking path. What do you notice in the air? What do you notice on the ground? Volcanologists said that the location of the eruption meant it was unlikely to cause flooding. Can you see the ash cloud? Small pieces of rock and glass can be carried into the air for many kilometres. Sometimes this can be dangerous for aeroplanes. To recognise how volcanoes are formed, we need to know that the Earth's crust isn't one solid layer. It's broken up into huge areas called tectonic plates that float on top of the mantle. They're a little bit like jigsaw pieces. You can see these tectonic plates on the map. They're shown by the red lines. Can you see them? Let's create your own tectonic plates. Let's use two pieces of paper. If you put them down side by side on a table, how many different ways could you move them around? Well, you could rub them together, up and down, or you could push them together, and they'd probably go on top of each other, or you could pull them away from each other. This represents how tectonic plates move towards or away from each other. But what have tectonic plates got to do with volcanoes? Well, this valley is over 9,000 years old. It is getting 7 millimetres wider every year as the plates are still moving apart. The rocky valley floor was caused by cooled lava. This valley is surrounded by volcanoes that have formed as the plates move apart. When you download the PowerPoint, you can watch the footage of the valley, but here are some images for you to have a quick look at. So how are volcanoes made? Well, pressure builds up inside the Earth. This then affects the Earth's crust, so that magma can sometimes erupt through it. This usually occurs on plate boundaries, so when tectonic plates move away from each other or rub together. The lava and ash that has erupted through the crust build up to form a classic volcano shape over time. This process is happening all of the time. Can we use some of the key vocabulary to name the parts of a volcano? Well, when the eruption occurs, we have an eruption cloud. You may have already heard of the crater, the opening at the top of the volcano. The conduit is the main vent within the volcano, and this is the magma chamber. Your task today is to see if you can describe how a volcano is made. Please don't complete all of the sheets. You can pick which difficulty you would like. Either complete the keywords to finish the sentences, or, if you want a challenge, use the keywords to write your own sentences. You can always just use the sentences we've given you and sort them into the correct order. If you have the resources you need and the time, why not have a try making your own volcano?